Hey, I'm Tyler Boronski. You're watching my YouTube channel where I interview some of the most recognizable faces in entertainment. Today's guest has quite the acting resume, with his first role being in the '91 John Singleton hit Boys in the Hood. And right now is most recognized for his work on the CW and Netflix show All American. He plays Preach, but in real life, he is Kareem Grimes. Kareem, thank you for the time, man.
What's going on, Tyler, man? I appreciate it, man. Happy to be here, bro.
Absolutely. So we're doing this interview through Zoom, which I know you're familiar with using because I've been seeing you crash some different fans' Zoom sessions as of late. Yeah. So what's the, fan reception when they see Preach us join the chat?
Shocked, excited, speechless. I think all of it, man. So it's pretty cool, man. I think it's just my way of just giving the love back, man. Everybody's been so supportive of the show and keeping it trending and things of that nature. So, it's only right, man, as the fans show love to give it right back. And what better time than now? Absolutely.
So for those that aren't familiar with the show All American, it's based in two different locations. You got Beverly Hills and Crenshaw, two very different situations. And you grew up in Inglewood, California, only 15 minutes from both of those places. So what aspects of the show remind you of how you grew up?
I think a lot of it, man. I think I watched the show before I got on the show. I was a fan of the show before I got on it. I connected to it, and I connected to it easily because my story is a little bit opposite. I got bused to predominantly white school. So I went to school, a school called Palisades, Pacific Palisades. So that's right over there going towards Malibu, literally not too far from Santa Monica Pier. So I've always been bused. And then I was playing football. I was pretty good. And at the time, Dorsey High School, which is in South LA, was a powerhouse. And I was like, man, I think I'm going to take my talents over there. Tried out for varsity, got on it, but I wasn't starting. And I was like, I'm cool. So I just really took to my acting career even more. But yeah, I connected to it, man. On both ends. Like I said, I went to a school where it was predominantly white, wealthy area, and then going to Dorsey High School, which is not a poor area. It's working middle class. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I didn't know that about you. It is kind of like the flip from what this show is based off. Spencer Paysinger, former NFL player's life. Your character, Preach, he's a gang member in the Crenshaw area, got out of jail, and a lot of your scenes are with Bre-Z, who plays Coop in the show. She's also in Crenshaw, and goes back and forth if the gang life's for her or not. A lot of one-on-one conversations with your character, Preach, kind of giving her some advice, trying to help her out. Whether you watched the scene back or you remember filming it, what is a scene between you two that kind of resonates when you think about your time on the show with those two characters?
I think probably for me, the episode that sticks out more, probably the best for me is season 2, episode 11. Where I'm trying to stop Coop from going after Tyrone to kill him. And I tell her, let me do it. And I think at that moment right there, we find that Preach really cares about Coop, and he doesn't want to see her go through the same situations he's gone through. That's why he said, hey, you'll never know, when pulling the trigger until you're in front of that person, because if you go ahead with that, that's a big deal. That thing can change you.
If you can kill a man, it changes a person. It changed me.
That is probably one of the best and probably my favorite episode, my favorite scene in episodes to shoot. Shout out to Ryan Zaragoza, who directed that episode.
And anyone that's seen the show knows what scene you're talking about too. That's a big moment for sure. And we love Bre-Z. Bre-Z's an alumni from my college, Full Sail University. So always a big fan. And I like her story. I like how she was a barber before kind of getting into entertainment scene.
Yeah. And
has she done anyone's hair on the set? I'm curious.
You know what? It's so funny. I'm not sure, but I've seen. When I was talking to her, I found out that she was a barber, and but she hasn't. But she she'll tell the barber like, oh, do it this way, do it that way. So I was like, okay, I get, yeah, she really is.
Yeah,
she really
and I like how they incorporated that in the show too. They gave her a job as a barber, so it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I mentioned in the intro, you have been acting for a while now, 30 plus years. You might have the most experience in the cat. Maybe Tay Diggs. I don't know.
Yeah, Tay Diggs, definitely. Yeah.
Up there, one or two. So what has the fan impact for this show on All American been like for you compared to other roles you've had in the past?
Oh, by far, this show, and just being in the industry for a long time, this show has impacted my life tremendously, but also just recognition, face recognition, fan love, fanfare, the most, hands down. It's humbling, it's a blessing, and that people tap in and really watch the show and really connect with the character and really love the character. So, it's been nothing but a blessing and definitely a big impact in my life.
Awesome to see, man. I know you've been doing a lot of these interviews as well. So again, I appreciate you doing this.
Nah, it's all good, man. I enjoy it.
Last question for you, because I know, like I mentioned to you off air, that I discovered All American through this quarantine period.
Yeah.
But I know COVID-19 has kind of made the world stand still for a second. So how has COVID-19 affected your guys' production plans for season 3?
Well, we wrapped season 2 in January, and the writers literally went back, I want to say first or second week of March to start writing for season 3.
Oh, wow.
So it hasn't really affected us in a way, because once kind of Hollywood shut down, and Kiche Okoro, who's the showrunner, she would do the Zoom writers room meetings.
Okay.
So nothing really stopped.
Interesting.
It's just, instead of being together, everybody is on Zoom, writing, talking about season 3 and what they plan to do. We are scheduled to go back to shooting in July. So It seems like, between May and June, we should be good as far as the quarantine being lifted. So it'll be right on time for us to go back to shooting in July. I think right now they're just trying to figure out how they're going to do it and things of that nature, because as you know, working on a show or a movie, there's 30 to 40 people, involved on the set, 4 people running 1 camera. So it's just figuring out what that's going to look like. We're scheduled for July, and we shoot through from July to December, a little bit of January, and then in the middle of that, October is when we're back on the CW. That's our home. And then after the season is over on the CW, then it goes to Netflix. So we probably won't be on Netflix until 2021.
Sure. That makes sense. Well, I'm glad to hear you guys haven't been hit too hard. I know some other shows have kind of they started up a little bit.
Yep. They literally had to stop shooting in the middle of it. So, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting how they're working that out once we kind of get back to normal, per se. So, yeah. All
right. Well, thank you, Kareem. He plays Preach on All American and has a new movie that just came out called Shepherd.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a film out that's on Apple TV and or Amazon called Shepherd. Something totally different. It's a thriller directed by Jordan McClure, written by Phil Landa. Amazing cast. Definitely check it out.
So after you guys are done binging All American, you can see more Kareem in The Shepherd on Amazon.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly. Indeed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kareem. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, Tyler. You have a good one, man.